Sam Farmer, the LA Times, you sent some shockwaves throughout Southern California with your story last night about the Chargers and the Raiders possibly moving to LA together. What's the most important thing for Charger fans to know about these revelations?
I would say the most important thing is that there are going to be a lot of twists and turns to come, that this is not a linear process, that it's not connecting A to B. We're going to see a lot of things happen between now and the time the NFL ultimately decides which team or teams are going to move to LA.
Was this a reaction to what Stan Kroenke is doing in his effort to relocate the Rams there and build a stadium?
Yes, definitely. What Stan Kroenke did last month in announcing his 80,000-seat stadium forced Dean Spanos' hand. I don't believe that the Chargers would have done this. I think they would have been more patient, even though they've been exceedingly patient throughout this process. I think they would have been more patient had Stan not forced their hand, but now they had to act because they realized that, hey, this isn't going to be around forever. And if Dean assembles this voting block of 9 voters, 9 owners who block a move to LA, he can really only use that trump card once, because once he plays it, the owners say, well, you either have to get a deal in San Diego or you have to move. And so, you know, he realized that now is the time for action, and so he took action.
As far as you know, then, when did the Chargers reach out to the Raiders? How did this bizarre partnership come about?
Well, that's still somewhat unclear what the timeline was on that, but the Raiders don't have the wherewithal to do the deal themselves. We talked about that before. But this is a more appealing situation for them because if the Raiders piggyback off the Rams, the Raiders are clearly going to be the second tenant. And that's not as appealing as going in with the Chargers being on equal footing, being 50-50 partners with them, and being treated like an equal. And so it's something that from an NFL perspective, you could say it solves 3 problems for the NFL, because San Diego and Oakland are the biggest stadium problems, and there's also the problem of Los Angeles.
There are a lot of people, San Diego, Oakland, LA, that are, I'll believe it when I see it. Do you think this is something that happens relatively quickly? By next year, are we talking about the Los Angeles Chargers, Los Angeles Rams, Los Angeles Raiders?
Yeah. Well, I will say this is built to a critical mass now, and you have 3 existing owners. I don't think the NFL can punt here. I think ultimately there is going to be a team that winds up in LA, team or teams. Whether that happens for the 2016 season, I think is still up in the air. I think it could hit another snag. The Rams are close to being entitled on their stadium. The Chargers and Raiders are just starting the process and just launching the petition to get a ballot measure on the ballot in Carson. So whether they can do that quickly enough to have a fair sort of horse race down the stretch this season remains to be seen. But I'll tell you, the league is not going to want to stretch this thing out too long, because you just can't have lame duck season after lame duck season. And all 3 of these markets are definitely stirred up.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, Marty.